Listen to that. What a symphony of sound and glory. Can we have a little bit more? That is beautiful. That might be the most beautiful song I've ever heard. Welcome to episode 3. I'm calling it episodes now, Mel. Hi, Mel. How are you?
Good, thanks, Matt. How are you?
I'm pretty good. So that beautiful intro, I believe it's George the Grey and Skippy, who are best friends, singing along. The beautiful sound, wasn't it, Mel?
It was. And yeah, we should have put out a warning before that.
Oh,
in case any of
great.
the other greyhounds are whining in the background.
God damn. So Triple J have a language warning. I think Talking Couch Potatoes should have a greyhound trigger warning. Sorry, everyone at home, if your greyhounds have gone nuts. But we've got a little treat because the proud mama of Skippy has joined us on the line. Hi, Cara.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. What do you think of your talented baby and their best friend?
I think Skippy and Georgia sound great. Yeah, as a classical musician myself, I think opera is beautiful and they just better than everyone else, I think.
Very talented greyhounds, aren't they, really?
Absolutely. I think Georgia really carries the team and Skippy's more of background vocals.
But they need each other, really.
Yeah, they do.
We're looking for, like, funny stories of greyhounds. And Skippy has developed a bit of a habit.
Yeah, she has. So she started doing this thing now where every time my alarm goes off in the morning, she basically grunts very loudly at me and at the alarm until I turn it off. And then I'm someone who needs about 10 alarms to wake up in the morning. Yep. So it happens at every single alarm.
So she's just annoyed at you, really.
Or she doesn't want me to go. I like to think she doesn't want me to leave.
Yeah,
and
that's very cute. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, you're our first ever phone-in for listener feedback, by the way, Cara. So
amazing.
Thanks.
No worries. I like listening to podcasts, especially on my longer drives. So I'm glad that there's one now about greyhounds and something, the ending greyhound racing. And I think the title's great as well.
Thank you so much for your support, and thanks for being a part of the movement to help these gorgeous creatures out.
Thank you, Cara, and please give Skippy a pat from us.
I will.
Thanks, Cara.
Bye.
Bye.
Wasn't that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. And as luck would have it, we also have Georgia the Grey with her sister Hannah. Absolutely. Jess is the mama of Georgia the Grey. Well, Georgia sings along with Hannah while Hannah plays piano, and we happen to have a clip of that. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this.
It's gorgeous.
Great. And we have George the Grey's mama here with us, Jess. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Matt. Hi, Mel.
Hi, Jess.
How often does this happen in the household?
Oh, this is a daily occurrence every time Hannah does her piano practice these days.
Wow. So every time Hannah's practicing on the keyboard, George is jumping in.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. That's lovely. That's gorgeous. Do you have close neighbours?
Yeah, we do, but they don't seem to be bothered by it. One of them's our very good friend, Lily Longnose, who some of our listeners might know. So she's pretty tolerant to a greyhound singing.
Apparently we have one more song. You guys are very talented, your dogs. Queen of the Night, sung by Georgia.
Oh, yeah, that one's got nearly 1 million views.
Really? All right, bring it on. I want to hear it. Let's go. Wow. That is perfect pitch.
It's just gold. Oh, I love that dog.
I feel inspired. Wow. Jess, what have you done, Jess? She's a
done
diva.
It all by herself. She's done it all by herself. We had nothing to do with it.
All right, we have to get him in the studio, Mel. I want to hear that
we'll
live.
Look at that. Definitely. And I just wanted to say too that Hannah is one of our most dedicated fans. And
absolutely, she's at every market and she's always speaking up to greyhounds, talking to all her friends about greyhound racing and why it should end.
That's what I think gives us the drive to keep going, because we know that the next generations are just going to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
Let's have Hannah on. Let's have Jess, Hannah, and Georgia on the show.
We love that. We love the podcast. Great work, guys. Excellent work through the Hounds.
Thank you so much. And please share. And also, we love you. And also, if you want to know more about Georgia the Greyhound, I believe you can go to Georgia _ Grey. Is that right, Jess?
That's right. Yep, on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Great work. See you later, guys.
Bye, Jess. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
All right, so we're going to move on to our shout-outs and promos, I think, is our next regular section we're introducing. So this week, I would just like to give a big shout-out to one of our Free the Hounds volleys, Emily. Emily's been a great help, actually, to this podcast, working tirelessly in the background, editing the rubbish I spew forth into something that sounds reasonably listenable. So thank you, Emily. Emily has a beautiful greyhound daughter called Lily. And Emily's written a book, everyone. It's a children's book, and it's called Lily Longnose Finds a Home. And you can get it on, I think, at Lily Longnose on Insta, or you can get it, Free the Hounds are helping out with that. Is that right, Mel?
Yeah. Well, we'll have it on our website once it is published, and then people can order them then.
Okay, so it's Lily Longnose Finds a Home.
That's right. And the profits from the sales of it are going to rescues.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Emily. A giver, a
really
helper.
Good humans.
Do you think we could get Emily visiting us on the podcast one time?
I'm sure she'd be happy to.
We could talk about the book.
And
Emily?
there's also merch too.
Merch?
Lily Longnose has merch.
Is there merch?
Yes.
Oh, so do they have an Insta?
Yeah, they're on Instagram, also on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Follow Lily Longnose. So that's an invite, Emily. Hopefully you can come and join us soon. Okay, we'd like to discuss something that happened fairly recently, I believe, Mel, which is the Great Greyhound Global Walk. Great Global Greyhound Walk.
Yep, that's it. Yes, we did. Gawa Greyhound Adoptions WA hosted it on the long weekend in September, and we were inundated with greyhounds. It was brilliant, and sighthounds. There was 305 sighthounds that we were able to acknowledge for the walk.
Was that a record?
It is for Perth. We had 247 last year. This year we had 305.
Awesome.
Which is brilliant. It was so cool to see.
That's awesome.
So it was really lovely. And I tell you what, I think it'd be really hard to find so many dogs together anywhere that were so quiet and so well behaved.
Sorry, Mel, correct you because I was there.
Oh.
I was there with my beautiful boy and my beautiful Princess Bunny, and she was a noisy, barky girl. Because one in every, I don't know.
There's always one.
100, 1,000 maybe.
Yeah.
And she was just telling everyone where they could walk and where they couldn't walk.
But she was doing crowd control. That's okay. She had a job for the day.
That's exactly what she was doing.
I'm always amazed at how beautifully they behave.
Most greyhounds are very beautifully behaved. Bunny, if you're listening. Thanks, Mel. Anything else on the Great Global Greyhound Walk?
You know what? Isn't it brilliant that every year the numbers that are going up are just massive? It's not just, 50 or 20.
Yep.
It's huge.
Yep.
So that soon there is going to be more greyhounds as pets in these cities than there are racing greyhounds.
Yeah.
Scale starts to tip.
The tide will turn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because people don't want the dogs that they see and love and have in their home every day. They don't like to think of them on the track or out in kennels in the stinking heat or the freezing cold, So
Yep, the time is coming. We're introducing a new section, I believe, as well, Mel.
Yes.
Next regular section is stats.
That's right.
So we want to get an update every podcast on the injuries that are happening on these tracks. So, Mel, what do you have in terms of an update for stats?
Okay, so the fortnight from the 25th of August to the 7th of September, there was one dog suffered a major injury, which was a 90-day stand down. Then there was 5 that suffered a 28-day stand down injury, which is kind of a moderate thing, muscle tears, things like that. A stand down is after they finish the race, every race, the dogs get vetted by the on-track veterinarian. However, we think that dogs coming straight from a race, full of adrenaline, still hot, still excited, you're not always going to see what's truly happened to a dog. And there's no imaging equipment, and they are the figures that are reported to the public in their annual report.
Also, isn't it a little tragic that there's actually a system in place?
Oh, absolutely.
So we've got a system in place to say how long you go away once you've been hurt.
Yep.
And this is just a part of the process.
Yep. And what's even more upsetting is Free the Hounds maintain that the reporting should be done per dog, but they do it per starter, which is every single dog that gets into a box at every race. So these injury rates are then calculated out by maybe 26,000 rather than by the 1,600 dogs that you actually have in. So it's making the figures look much, much lower. 0.05% of dogs get injured or a major injury. That's not true. If you take it on the individual dogs, it's a lot higher than that. Okay. We have a dog a week at the moment breaking a right hock in WA. That's a fracture to their right leg.
And there's a lot of pain for that dog
Absolutely.
as well. Like this
Absolutely.
It makes me a little sad, this stats section, but I guess we need to feel sad sometimes to inspire us to make change.
Another thing that we find really worrisome is that injured off track, there was 39 dogs that fortnight. So we have no idea of what those injuries are.
So off track is in training?
Correct.
Is that what you mean?
In the kennels. So they've been scratched due to the fact that they have had an injury off track.
And this is also a bunch of, I'm sure there's others, but mainly blokes can just put a punt on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all this injury is just so you can put a punt on.
Absolutely. And then you've got the earnings, of course. So just to let our listeners know what they are, a trainer subsidy is Racing and Wagering WA, the controlling body. They pay each of the participants for bringing a dog to the track. And it's called a trainer subsidy. So if your dog runs, I think it's 285 metres, you get $65. If they run, I think it's about 380 metres, they get $75. The 380 to 520 metres, $125. And then past that, it's $150.
And this is regardless of whether they place?
Absolutely.
Right.
So this is just for taking your dog to the track.
Right.
So if you've got a kennel and you've got 5 dogs, and one of them's likely to win you a place, but then you've got all these other 4 stragglers, you're going to take a full trailer and get you that money. We've been told by Racing and Wagering themselves that some of these owners need to run these dogs in order to be able to feed them. And majority of these people do it as a hobby. So we say, well, find a new hobby. And if it is your hobby, you should already have a job, we would assume. So if you can't afford to pay for your hobby, don't do it.
Sometimes listening to you, Mel, I could never imagine putting Bunny or Bo on a track. I mean, I'm hopeless. If Bunny steps on an ant, I panic. The idea that she might break her leg or potentially die, I just don't get it, Mel.
No. Anyway, for the trainer subsidies for that fortnight, it was $109,475.
That's what the government is paying?
Well, it comes out of the wagering tax.
Okay.
So that's the participants' argument, is that it's actually not tax money. It's earned from wagering, which is public betting on the dogs.
Yep.
But if the government chose to funnel that to something else under the legislation, they could do that. But because these trainers will only bring their dogs if they're getting X amount of dollars, it has to go to them.
Right, so it's propping itself up in a sense.
It is.
Is that what's happening?
It is. However, it could be used for other things.
Yep.
It could go to health. It could go to schools. And that's what we maintain. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
I like it when you're on your...
Okay, so stake money for that fortnight was $692,000. So that's your prize money that these people win for getting a dog in either first, second, third, fourth, sometimes if it's a draw place. And then there's the breeding bonus, $46,000. So that's if you have a dog and it was born in WA and wins a particular race in WA, then you get a bonus on top of it. So it's an incentive to breed more dogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which then also the domino effect is we need to rehome.
Absolutely. Which currently the whole of Australia is in a rehoming crisis, not just for greyhounds but other breeds as well.
Mel, do you have an update on the export bill that's recently been discussed in Parliament?
Yes, it should be available the 18th of October. We were actually given another opportunity to be able to answer any further questions or make any further statements.
Yep.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting. One of the points that Free the Hounds brought up was the fact that COVID obviously slowed down any export of animals, particularly to China, during the period that was discussed in the inquiry. So while Greyhound Racing Victoria and Greyhounds Australasia were saying it's only been X amount of dogs, well, it's just beginning to ramp up again now because China is opening up and we've got flights directly there. Senator Canavan was insisting that Animals Australia leaked the story to the ABC.
Is there any sort of veracity to that claim, Mel?
No, we did it. Yeah, we did that. Because
you're claiming responsibility.
Absolutely.
Here live on the... So that's...
But that's because we went to all of the industry bodies and no one wanted to have a discussion about it.
Yep.
What else is there to do?
You tried to have a chat?
Yeah.
No one wanted to have a chat?
Exactly.
Right.
So what are you going to do, you know? It doesn't matter. The fact is that it's wrong and that doesn't account for the progeny and the breeding and how many dogs are created from 3 or 4 or 5 dogs that go over there.
Yep. So that's the 18th of October. That'll land.
That's the hope. So we'll either have a big celebration on the next podcast after that, or we'll be commiserating and having further debates.
But we'll still move forward, won't
Absolutely.
we? Like you never give up, Mel.
No.
I've got one more thing I just wanted to ask you about, Mel, and that is something that's fairly recent, I believe. Some pretty big news about a dog. I know that we are not meant to export dogs to China. However, there was a dog called Jarek found in China for sale.
Yes, that's correct.
As a breeding dog. Mm-hmm. Could you fill us in on what happened?
Sure. So, yes, we are going to start a campaign to bring Jarek home. He is a 6-year-old now, blue brindle boy that was born in New South Wales. I found him just on the Chinese website through my research that I've been doing. I've been researching this for probably about 3 or 4 years now.
Mel gets about 3 hours sleep a night, everyone.
So there was another dog that I used to check on. She was actually from UA, so I'd just go back and check on her periodically. And I saw that she was being mated with a Australian boy, which I hadn't seen him there before. So as it transpired, we figured it out, and he had actually been exported to South Africa. And then he spent about a year in South Africa, presumably breeding hunting dogs.
So can I just check, Mel? South Africa is an allowable...
No, that's not either.
Oh.
Not for participants.
So from word go, it's been corrupt.
Absolutely, yeah. And he didn't have a passport and he wasn't desexed. Desexing wasn't actually mandatory at that point, but...
When was this?
He actually left Sydney to South Africa direct on the 23rd of September in 2020. He spent about a year there and then he was flown into China. He was there for approximately a year before we found him. We reached out to him and the owner was prepared to sell him, which is very unusual. So purchased him and then he spent his time in quarantine over there and then he was flown to the UK. So we've just put his permit in to be imported into Australia. So we're waiting on approval for him to fly back.
You've rescued?
Yeah, and he'll be the first greyhound that we're aware of that has come back from mainland China. We've had we had 20 come back from Macau, from the Canadrome, but we've never had one return from the mainland.
Oh, well done, Mel, to have gotten to this point, to be able to bring Jarek back home. I mean, he's 6 years old. He still has an opportunity to have
absolutely,
a fulfilling life as a beloved pet and a nice home.
Yeah, we would not have thought to bring him home if he wasn't that age. Most of them that we've found are 10 years and plus. So, you know, even if we could purchase these dogs, we would never think about bringing them back to Australia. It's just too far.
Right.
But we've got a campaign at the moment going out to Senator Watt and also to Anthony Albanese to get these dogs flights to safety. I mean, if they could just be aware of the number of people that care about this. It's against the rules of racing to send a dog out of the country without a passport.
Yep.
It's against the rules of racing to send a dog out that's not desexed. And that's why Senator Faruqi wants to just ban all exports and imports, because that's the only way that you will get around it never happening.
All the problems.
Yeah.
And as Georgie Purcell said, those who haven't listened to her podcast, call, email, and make an appointment. If you really care about this, and I'm guessing you do if you're listening to us, act, speak up, and as Mel does every day, try and make a change.
Because honestly, the more of us that can do it, there will be change. The next generation of children, I believe, aren't going to accept what is happening
Absolutely not.
to animals on large scales.
Yep.
Those really big ones like dairy industries and farming and things like that aren't going to be able to be changed as quickly.
Yep.
But something like greyhound racing can be.
We can get it done. I think you said to Georgie last time, you intend on being here. I intend on being here.
I'm not dying until it's done.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks, Mel, for just the incredible work Free the Hounds does. I guess that you guys are chipping away at an industry that's maybe not massive, but it's entrenched in some political systems. So if we can entrench in the societal system the idea that this is anachronistic, it's outdated, it's unsustainable, and raise a voice for the voiceless, then we can get something done.
Absolutely.
So thanks for listening, everyone. Please tune in again next time. Let's get together to release the hounds.